We're back.
We're excited.
Hi, everyone. It's so good to see you in the comments.
Yes, lots of people from everywhere. I've been watching all the places everyone's from, so that makes it really fun. I'm excited.
It does. So we should probably just quickly recap, or not
Okay.
quickly. We're gonna have fun and take our
We
time.
We are.
Well, yesterday I felt like we were like, oh my gosh, it's going so late. But let's just kind of reintroduce them to kind of what we did yesterday before we dive into today.
Okay. Well, first of all, in case you weren't here yesterday and this is your first time here, I'm Annie Moody. I'm one of the co-founders, along with my sister Linda Remmers, for Hoop Sisters.
I'm not her sister.
No,
I'm her daughter.
This is Aubrey Ella Brock.
I'm the one that keeps it fun around here.
She does. She really does. Well, you're not the only one, though.
That's true.
That's true.
That is true.
Yep.
But we've gone to like trade shows and everyone's like, oh, are you the sisters? And she's like, oh, and I'm like, no, that's my mother.
Stop. Okay. Well, if you weren't here yesterday, you'll be able to find the video for our thing, whatever. I can't talk. Our thing, our live that we did yesterday, and what we did is we stitched out this block right here, which is
beautiful.
One of these. There's 4 of these all put together, and this is called Peekaboo. So we stitched the block out today. The first thing I'm going to do is we're going to stitch out the bonus that you get. So some of you have already bought, probably have already opened up all your files. If you got the download, you'll be able to see the cute little pin cushion. So this is a bonus that you got for free when you ordered, I forget, Aubrey knows
design
all, there are
and Battleizer. Yeah.
Yep. So it has a place for pins. There's a plastic backing in there so your pins don't poke you when you pick it up, and a little flange that you can keep all your clips on there if you're using clips.
It's
so
adorable.
We're going to stitch that out first. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use the wonderful trimmer by George, which is great for removing the bulk and the seams of your quilt blocks. So when you join them together, they lay much nicer. So we'll go do that after that. Then I'm going to talk about pinning 2 different blocks together. If somebody's calling someone on Aubrey's phone.
I mean, how many times do you have to tell your husband, don't call me?
Is that who it is?
Yes.
Oh, goodness. Okay. Anyway.
You can relate, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Your husband doesn't listen? Mine neither.
He misses you. But anyway, I'm good. After we trim, I'm going to show you how to properly pin your blocks together so that they stay together and they don't do any moving around as you're sewing.
And we got a good tip for that.
So stay tuned. Let's get started.
Wait, there's one more really important thing happening today.
What's that?
The Baby Lock giveaway is happening today.
Yes.
And thank you, Nina, I saw her post the link to that in the comments. So whether you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, there's a clickable link in the comments right now. I have the link on the screen too, but the one in the comments, you can actually just click on it. And Maddie Murphy is here from Baby Lock. So at the end of the session today, she's going to pop on and share with you what the winner is going to get, which is, I have it written down, a Riley Blake project kit and accessory kit. So some lucky winner is going to get that.
So that you have to get, in order to be entered, like she said, make sure you're registered through that link. So Maddie will try and get our business done so we can bring you on. Anything else?
I don't know, probably, but those are the important things.
Well, we'll come back.
So we'll get stitching over here. And then this, by the way, you all, is the bonus that if you order the design, whether it's USB or download, and a 5-yard of Battleizer, then you will get the bonus for free, okay? Oh, let me switch you. There you go.
Okay, so again, this is our little pin cushion, which is the bonus. You can just purchase this for $15 or the free gift, like Aubrey said, for over $62.09 or something like that. You will get this automatically in your cart for free. So these are the fabrics that you need for it. There's 2 fabrics on the front. They are cut 4.5 inches by 5 inches. And then what is on the bottom or the back of your pin cushion is cut 5 inches square. So let's get started here. What I did was I hooped my battleizer, which is like 90% of what we do. That's step number one.
Yeah.
Or like 99%. And then you're going to do this with water soluble thread and the needle. And your first step stitches out just an outline or a placement stitch of what is going to happen following that. I used yellow because I wanted it to show up for you, and I'm just going to use yellow throughout, but follow your instructions because there's reasons sometimes we call for water soluble thread, and it will be very important. So our next step is our two fabrics that are on the front. We call one fabric 1 and one fabric 2. Frankly, it doesn't matter which one. I think I'll just go with the teal first. But you're going to take this. Now, since this is a rectangle, 4.5 by 5, make sure that you're placing it with the longer side going this direction. So just kind of do a double check. It looks like it's going to end up being this way. When it's only 1/2 inch difference, it's kind of, you got to pay attention. So you're going to lay this on here so that you have, about 1/2 inch anywhere outside of the block. So I'm going to have 1/2 inch outside here. And I always pull it back just to make sure. I can bring this down just a hair. You don't have to measure it. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's one of the wonderful things about Hoop Sisters. So in this step, this is also a water soluble step, and it's basically a tack down. And it's also going to sew a placement stitch for where we're going to put our little fleet or our flange. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to, at this point, you're going to, since I just have the yellow and I should have had water soluble, which is what you're going to do because you want this to dissolve later on. But now you're going to switch to just a coordinating thread. It can match. I think our instructions say, yep, to match the fabric, only in the needle, and you still have embroidery bobbin thread in the bobbin. And then what you're going to do is you're going to flip this direction and give it a little finger press. And then you're going to fold part of it back, just part of it, so that that fold lines up with the stitching right here, the stitching that will eventually dissolve. So I'm just going to make sure that I have this folded just right. And then I'm going to finger press. I'm going to finger press it here, and I'm going to make sure I finger press it there one more time so it lays nice and flat. And then with that same neutral thread, we're just it's gonna stitch down this direction.
I get it. Is this where your clips are gonna go?
Yes.
Ah.
See? Okay, I'm gonna read my instructions because I don't want to mess it up.
She's made this a while ago, so she's got to refresh her.
Step 4 says smooth out fabric and sew another tack down stitch using the same thread. And then we're going to trim that about 1/4 inch from there. So I got some thread tails that are kind of long. Let me clean this up a little bit. All right, so you just leave that there and hit the start button again. And it's going to sew another little line of, it's just a tack down stitch to hold it in place. And this one is with neutral thread also. And then step 5, we're going to take the other piece of fabric, our fabric 2, and we're going to lay it right side down, raw edges even, and we're going to sew a seam, and we're still going to keep the same thread in there. All right, and again, since it's 4.5 by 5, you're going to want to make sure you have it laying in the right direction. So you're just going to lay it right side down. Sometimes you may end up having to trim this, so it's like a scant 1/4 inch. Mine looks perfect. I don't have to trim anything. So right side down with raw edges even, and we're going to stitch another seam. Okay, so now we're going to flip this fabric right side up. This would be a good place to change back to water soluble thread because again, it's going to do a little placement stitch similar to over here. that later you maybe don't want to see it. So you might want to use the water soluble so it dissolves. So it's going to do another, it's going to do a little rectangle of stitching.
We've had some people join since we started. Do you want to pop this back in the camera just to quick
Sure.
refresh of what you're actually making?
Yeah, this is what we're making. It's a little pin cushion, and it has obviously a place for pins. It's stuffed with polyfill. It has a little piece of plastic stuffed inside on the bottom so the pins don't poke you when you pick it up. But it also has the flanges that we're making, and that's why we're folding the fabric and then folding it back so that these flanges can hold the clips. So if you have the little clips instead of pins, you have a place to put both on this cute little pin cushion. All right, so man. Step 7. We are on step 7. We are almost finished with this part of it. Step 7 says here we're going to place thread that matches our red fabric or your fabric too. I'm going to just go ahead with the yellow because I want you to be able to see where it's stitching. But we're going to take this fabric and we're going to fold it towards the left. And we're going to line it with the folded edge and the placement stitch so we can make another pleat. So we're going to fold it back just like we did with the blue fabric. Give it a little finger press and then fold it back again. And you're going to line it with that yellow right there. And yours, if you use water soluble, is going to be, it'll look white. And then just finger press both of them and hit the start button, and it'll complete our second little pleat or flange.
Clip holder, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. All right. And let me grab another thread tail and get it off there. All right, so now what we're going to do is, what are we going to do? We are going to take this pleat. We want our pleats, let me show you, this one to go in this direction. So we're going to finger press this pleat that way because we have the flange is going this direction and this direction. Because if we were to try and do it over here, put our clips right there, you really wouldn't have a lot of room to place your pins. So we are going to take this. We're going to finger press it over here in this direction. And now we're going to take our, here it is, our little backing fabric, which is our 5" by 5" piece. And we are going to lay it right over the top of this. We're still using our neutral or our sewing thread. And we're going to make sure that pleat stays over to the right. And also peek underneath and make sure that your backing fabric is, probably about a ½ inch width in there. So just do little peeks. Looks good. I'm going to make sure I'm fold it over nicely under there and then just hit the start button. And it's going to sew all this together, but it's going to leave an opening so we can turn it. You switched over here. Okay, Aubrey's gonna switch cameras.
We'll see how this works.
So bear with us for a second.
There we go. This will give you a better view.
I seem to have a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, we do have a lot of stuff going on over here.
Typical sewing room, right? Can you put that hoop over there for me?
Yes.
Okay. So here it is, how it comes out of the hoop. So what you will do, oh no, would you go run and get my rotary cutter?
Oh yeah.
And I'll talk about the Trimmer by George a little bit. So you guys are going to get 2 demonstrations on how to use the Trimmer by George. So let me just show it to you first. It's basically an acrylic ruler. It has all your typical markings. It has markings for sashing, which we use on some of our quilts, and bindings, which we use on 99.9% of our quilts. And it also has something that other rulers don't have, and that is this metal edge. And you can see, hopefully you can see that it has this thin metal edge over here. And that metal edge is for you to put between your battleizer and your fabric so that you can trim all the bulk away in your seams. So I'm going to just pull this back on this metal edge. I'm going to shimmy this in here and lay it down. I always give it just a gentle tug, and I just look visually to make sure no fabric peeked out. And then I will use a 60 millimeter rotary cutter. You need to use a 60 because that metal edge does lift it up a little bit. And then you use the metal edge as a straight edge to cut against. Now let me show you, if by chance, if you didn't have the trimmer by George, what you would have to do is pull this back and try doing this with a scissors, which is like, probably half the time you're going to end up nicking your fabric from the block you just made. And we don't want to do that. The other option, if you don't have a trimmer by George, is to try doing it with your rotary cutter and getting it lined up perfectly. And again, you will end up nicking that. So the great thing about the trimmer by George and that cool metal edge is that it protects that fabric on the front. So you're going to trim it with the trimmer by George all the way around. All right. This is the last side, and then the fabric that's left that's on the front, you're going to trim that a quarter minute. So you're going to, instead of using the metal side, you're going to turn your trimmer by George over, and you're going to find your 1/4 inch mark on your ruler, and you're going to line it up with that basting stitch or that seam that's sewed in the last step. And this is where you're going to trim your block. And you're going to do the same thing over here. So you're going to do that on all 4 sides. I have one here that's already trimmed on all 4 sides. And what you're going to do is you're going to...
I feel like that's starting to fall, so I'm going to move it a little.
You're going to clip your corners so that when they turn, your corners look really nice. You're going to take this and you're going to turn it so you're right side out. And there's your cute little pin cushion. Okay.
It's adorable.
It is adorable. It's so cute. And then you're going to take it to your iron. We're not going to do this here on the live, but you're going to just press it so it looks really nice. And then you will take a little 3x3 piece of plastic. And this is template plastic. Is it falling?
I just
Gravity's
feel like it's
taking
not,
hold.
Maybe it's just
It's
that your arms are short. Maybe move that way a little.
My arm's short? Just because the rest of me is? Okay, so you basically take your little piece of template plastic that's cut 3x3 and you bend it and fold it after you press it. I'll have to take it out so I can press it later. But you get this in there and you get it to lay nice and flat. And then you're going to put some polyfill stuffing in there. And then I'm trying to think if I top stitched it. You can't top stitch it because of the plastic that's in there. So you're just going to do a little hand stitch here on that opening. Or if you can push the plastic so you know it's not there, then you could probably do a little top stitch just on this side. What are you laughing at? It might be a little difficult with stuffing in there. So
Ruth said you're not short, you're fun sized.
I'm just like a Snickers bar. I'm going to take this out because I want to finish this. It's so stinking cute.
Yeah, that is really
okay.
cute.
So getting back to we do have a lot of stuff over here.
But we're using it all.
We are using it all. So we're just going to have to keep it here. So this is our block from yesterday that we stitched out from Peekaboo. And I also stitched out a couple of border blocks. This border block I already sewed to this. And I know some of the directions we say water soluble thread.
Mm-hmm.
I think this hopefully is a really good example.
See that white line?
That's water soluble. So I'm going to spit on it.
Okay.
But if you get it wet, it will dissolve. I should have brought a spray bottle or Q-tip in here,
Yeah.
but it will dissolve. So if you want to skip using water soluble thread, you'll find out really quick that it's really worth using because you don't want that stitching to show up.
Right. So you're either going to have to do a seam ripper or
Right.
stitch perfectly or
Right.
use water soluble thread.
Right. And I think most of the time you can stitch perfectly, but
Mhm.
there's going to be those moments. And
especially if you're using black
right.
fabric and white thread.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
just going to be like that.
So I already used the Trimmer by George, but I'm going to use it on this too. Now, these are the border blocks. So on the border blocks, you have to realize that it is on the edge of your quilt. So any side of your quilt or your block that's the edge of your quilt that will have binding sewn to it, we want to trim it 1/4 inch from the basting stitch through all the layers because you want to have something to sew your binding to.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll just pretend that this is my binding side. So you just take your Trimmer by George. Now the markings on the ruler are black and my fabric is black. That is not a problem. Flip it over and you can see this. I can see it well. How it comes across on the camera, I don't know, but I can see it really well where the edge of that stitching is. So this will end up being where my binding side is, or the edge of my quilt. Okay, so these other 3 sides in our quilt will have another block joined to it. So in that case, that's when you use the Trimmer by George with its awesome metal edge and just shimmy that in there, lay it down, and just a gentle tug. Make sure there's nothing peeking out that you can see, and it protects that fabric on the front while cutting away the bulk from the seam. So you can use this in a lot of different applications. So I'm going to get the little ends. And again, make sure that you have a 60mm rotary cutter because that metal edge does raise the ruler up a little bit. And you will not have success with a 45mm rotary cutter because it's shorter and you will tend to not want to hit this on here. So if it's hitting, your natural reaction would be to turn it a little bit, which means your blade is going in there and you could still end up slicing your fabric. So after that, all the fabric on the front gets trimmed 1/4 inch. So I'm going to have to flip it over because it's easier to see on the back. And here's this side. All right, so we have our block all trimmed up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to pretend that this is our little quilt. And this is where this block is going to go. The first thing you want to do is that you need to look and see, are there any match points from this block to this block that we need to be mindful of? In this case, it's not. If you were sewing 4 of the main block together, you would have a match point right there. In this case, we're taking a little shortcut just for demonstration purposes. Our match points are basically the corners right here. So we're going to make sure these corners match up with these corners. And you're also going to make sure, I'll show you with pinning, that this basting stitch will line up with that one. So we're going to put these right sides together. And I'm going to put a pin right here in the corner. And I'm going to make sure the pin goes through the corner over here on the other side. Okay, and that, we're going to call that an anchor pin. We're not going to do this and put it back through. We're going to just leave it out like that. We're calling that an anchor pin. And this is so that things are lined up properly this way and also this way. We're just going to hold that in place. I'm also going to do an anchor pin.
She's got a paper clip in her pins.
Well, hard telling what else is in there. So here's the other corner. Again, this is going to be an anchor pin. So we put it right through this corner and then also right through the corner on the adjacent block. Anchor pins. So now what we can do, that we have those in, we can take another pin, and this pin we're going to put through the seam allowance. If we tried to put that through where the battleizer is, it could end up still shifting. So put it through the seam allowance first and then back through where the batting is. Then you can take your anchor pin out. So again, through the seam allowance and then through the batting. And on this block, you can choose one or maybe two other places where you want to do that. So I'll just show you one. We're going to put, and I'm putting it right through where the stitching is. So you can see, hopefully, that the pin is coming right there on that basting stitch. We're going to then find the basting stitch on the other side. Sometimes I'll just put it through both sides, and then I always peek to make sure, yep, it's on the basting stitch. So again, that's our anchor pin. And then we'll put another pin through the seam allowance and then back through the batting. And what you're going to do, probably see it better on this side. Yesterday I used black just so everybody could see where it was stitching, but you will stitch right on this basting stitch when you sew it. Just use a straight stitch. Sew on that basting stitch. I usually use my stitch length, a 2.4, which is a default stitch on my machine. But if I ever have trouble like matching like this area or the quilting that flows from one block to another, if I ever have trouble with that, I will lengthen my stitch length to maybe 3.0. And that way, sometimes that just makes it easier to have everything lined up. But pinning it like this is totally going to help. So you pin it like I showed you. Sew right on that basting stitch. You will open it up, admire it, and then press your seams to one side.
Let's talk about pressing. Well, you have, I know you have
Yes.
wool in that project.
I do. This is a great project to add that extra layer of wool. So the wool, if you remember correctly, we had to prepare the wool, which was our step 2 yesterday. We had to flatten our edges to help keep the your presser foot from getting caught on the edge. So that's how we prepared our wool. Well, just with an iron can flatten that and make it super thin, which kind of defeats the purpose of using the wool in the first place. So when you're pressing your seams, you also need to be mindful of that. So what I like to do is I like to use the strip stick. And I think you had those on that page, the link, the Peekaboo page.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep, the strip stick is wonderful. It's like a dowel that's been cut in half lengthwise, and it's padded and covered. And it's a great way to just be able to put your seams right on there. And then with the tip of your iron, you're able to do your seams like that. And I always start actually ironing from the back side. I'll press it and just keep moving.
That's her iron as a finger.
Yes,
Finger as an iron.
This is my iron today. And then flip it over. And then just, again, with the tip of your iron, just press right in that area. The strip stick will keep everything nice and lofty, and it won't smash and melt your wool.
Right. Otherwise, what's the point of putting the wool in there, right?
Exactly. So now let's talk one more little thing about, we're going to pretend, I'm going to take this out of here because we're going to pretend this is our entire quilt. I like pretending. Okay. So then what you do on this little project, a lot of our smaller projects, what we do is we do a one-piece backing. And I think we'll show you the one-piece backing on the one up there in just a moment.
Oh, that looks so weird.
It looks
on
great.
camera.
It's actually black.
Yeah.
This is that grunge that we used in this. That looks really weird. This is great fabric if you're going to need like a chalkboard look. But this is right side down. So the wrong side is facing up. And you're just going to smooth it out, press it and smooth it out. And then you're going to take your little quilt. So this is our little mini quilt. We're going to lay this on here. And then I would take a few safety pins, and I usually pin somewhere towards the middle of the block. So I probably would put a pin here or a pin here. I would avoid the seams because the seams is where we're going to stitch in the ditch. So I probably put a pin here, one here, and maybe one over here on this one as well. And you're basically going to choose a serpentine stitch on your machine. The serpentine stitch is one that just kind of meanders back and forth. And by using the serpentine, it helps everything lay totally flat.
It's also surprisingly difficult to see that.
It is
until someone points it out.
It is, and that
it blends well.
It blends well because it's just a curvy stitch. So if you do see it, it kind of like, oh, that's part of the quilting, but it's not. It's just part of the construction of it. You could do a straight stitch if you prefer. try both of them, see which one you like best. But basically, that's how you do it. So once you do that, if you have a bigger, we just obviously have one seam here, but you're going to have more seams. Once you get all those seams done with a stitch in the ditch, then you're also going to stitch with a straight stitch right either on the basting stitch or in just in the seam allowance here, just to hold the outside edges in place. And then you can put your binding on it, and you trim the fabric even with your quilt and put your binding on it, and you're all set to go.
Pretty stinking
Yeah.
cool. Okay. What I would love to do now is I actually want to pop in a couple reminders as I'm going through here. This is kind of like your last 4 minutes to get in on the Baby Lock giveaway. So if Miss Nina could pop that link in there. I know I've seen her do it several times, but I want to make sure, because once I get through these slides, I'm going to bring Miss Maddie Murphy. I always say Miss because it's like so cute. Miss Maddie Murphy. Bring her in, and she's going to do the giveaway, tell you a little bit about Baby Lock. So we're going to pop that link in the comments, and this is your last opportunity to go get registered for that. Okay. So just to recap from yesterday, Peekaboo is now on the website. It's available. This is another link I'm going to ask Nina to drop, is the shopping link. And this beautiful, elegant design allows you to have kind of like that print be the star and peek out of that center there. So this is a really fun design. It's available in 5-inch and 7-inch blocks. When you order the design, you can get it on USB shipped to you, or you can just get it as a download. But either way, you're going to get both sizes. Okay. So you'll get both sizes. It's also multi-formatted. So it doesn't matter what machine brand you have. We've got you covered. We've got the format that you are going to need to make this project. Okay. Then you can pick, once you get your hands on it, whether it's immediately through the download or once it comes in the mail, you can decide, okay, not only do I have to figure out, am I doing 5-inch or 7-inch? Am I going to do the littles layout, which is what our sample is, or what we're calling the larger layout, which has basically you do it 4 times and put those together. Okay. I'm actually going to move my little banner so you can see the sizing for the 7-inch large. So the smallest this would be 14 inches by 14 inches project, all the way up to 35 inches squared. So it just kind of depends on block size and layout as to what the finished size of your project will be. Does anyone know what they're going to make? Let us know in the comments. Which way are you going to go? Then we also do, not only do we have a free gift, we also have a Baby Lock giveaway. Plus we have a bundle bonus, which is the project that Annie stitched out today, the Peekaboo pin cushion that has the little flanges that you can put clips on it. Super duper cute. Now that project is $15 download on our website, but you can get that project, the little, the pin cushion, for free if you order the design, either USB or download, and you also put 5 yards, at least 5 yards of Battleizer in your cart. And when you do that, we have automatic promotions set up that'll give you 10% off and the bonus for free.
Cool.
Pretty cool. The catch is it expires tonight at midnight. These are the workshop savings. They're only available during our workshop. So if you're on the fence at all, now's a really, really great time to save $21.90. Okay. Again, that's going away tonight at midnight. No, I'm not staying up and turning it off. It's all automatic. So I can't even try to be nice to you. It's just going to shut off at midnight.
Because I knew she would not be up at midnight.
No,
So
I'm too old for that. I'm too old for that. While you're at the shopping link that Nina will hopefully drop in there again for us, when you're on our website, what the link will take you to has everything you need. So Annie showed you today the trimmer by George. We talked about Battleizer. We showed you the strip stick. We talked about water soluble thread.
Yep, I want to talk about this one. You're done
that's
too.
there in there too. It's just not on my slide,
because
actually.
I think I did not tell them what thread to use for that. So.
Okay. So she's going to show you something else. Just know that all of this is in the link, the shoppable link that Nina is posting. And you can get the best savings if you order it by tonight at midnight. Annie has one more thing that she wants to show
Just
you.
one more
And then I
thing.
promise we'll do the giveaway.
Okay, so we mentioned doing the serpentine stitch to stitch in the ditch using that. And I think someone was asking about, can you see that or whatever? This is the back of our quilt.
Well, plus you have a print, so it's even more hidden.
It really is not visible at all when there's a print. But I used Superior Threads Monopoly thread. It's an invisible thread. It's our favorite. It is just the best thread out there that we like for that purpose. I'm going to show you the front. This whole section, and I'll turn it, maybe light will catch it, but you can't even see it. You can see a little indentation if you're here in person, but it basically is invisible. So we have spools of that you can use to put in your needle. And we recently have also added our bobbins. These are Monopoly bobbins. Now, I will also tell you that you need to know what type of bobbin that your machine takes, that we don't put that information in there. So you're going to have to maybe ask your dealer or go to your manual, your machine's manual, and find out. I just happen to have some L style here in my hand.
And we have class 15.
Yep. So
as well on the website.
You're going to have to figure that one. You're going to have to do that one yourself.
They're chanting giveaway. They're ready for the giveaway.
All right. Enough information for me.
There's no secret word today. There is no keyword today. We did the keyword giveaway yesterday. Today's the Baby Lock giveaway. And that's kind of fun because it's just something different that we don't have. We usually just give away store credit, but they were kind enough to sponsor the workshop with a giveaway. So I think what we'll do, does the 15 fit the Janome machine? Oh, the class 15? Honestly, I have no idea. We can ask Linda. Linda is the one that was like, we need these. They're so cool. And I don't know what fits what.
Linda sent me L.
Oh, okay. To use?
Okay. I think to use.
We'll find out.
Check with your dealer.
Yeah,
I think Janome takes L, but like I said,
there's so many different brands.
We're not responsible for telling you what you need.
Not with this anyway. All right. So, Maddie, if you're ready, I will pop you in here, introduce you. Okay. I'm going to take my banner down so we can see everything.
Maybe Maddie knows what kind of bobbins the Baby Lock has.
Maybe. I don't know. We're both in marketing. We might not know these things.
We might have to ask the team on that one. We'll figure it out.
We all have to stay in our lane.
That's right. Well, welcome, Maddie. So you and I have been hanging out for a while talking about different things. So I am excited to introduce you all to Maddie Murphy. And I'm going to turn it over to you and let you talk about Baby Lock and show them what you're giving away. Okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me again. It's been so fun. This project just blew my mind. I definitely want to go home and make it myself. So appreciate everybody attending and for such great participation in our giveaway. I was really excited about this prize, so I'm glad everyone is excited too. I'm going to give you a little bit of background about our company, and then I will recap what we're giving away, and I'll show you who we just picked as our winner. So if you didn't hear last time, Baby Lock is under the Tacony Corporation family. It's a family-owned business that manufactures and distributes vacuum cleaners, sewing machines, notions and accessories, commercial floor care equipment to the United States and Canada. So some of our brands that you might recognize include Baby Lock, of course, Koalas Studios Sewing Furniture, and Madeira Thread. We focus really heavily on community and education, so we encourage you to follow our social media pages so that you can get inspired by your fellow creatives and make some new friends. We also offer sew ed classes that anybody can use regardless of what machine, and we have over 1,100 free YouTube videos on our YouTube channel that teach about our machines and different sewing techniques. So I will share my screen and I can show you what we are giving away today. Let's see. Okay. Can everybody see my screen okay? All right. So today we're giving away...
I just realized I got to add it to the here. There we go. Now we can see it.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So we are actually giving away 2 prizes today that go with each other. They're these really awesome Riley Blake and Lori Holt mini quilt project kit. So you can make this beautiful quilt here. And then we've also got the accessory kit that goes along with it to help you create this beautiful vision. So we really appreciate everyone who entered. I just clicked the winner, so I will let you know who that is right now. I'm gonna click over to this tab, and it looks like we've got Arva Chambliss. So if you are in the US, I am happy to send you this prize. Otherwise, we can coordinate something else. But again, thank you all for participating, and I will send you some links right as I'm wrapping up. We've got some National Quilting Month websites that might be helpful to everyone. And then if you didn't win this time, don't give up. Definitely keep attending these webinars, but you can also submit to some of our other giveaways that are going on.
Yes.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Awesome. Yes, that's awesome.
And if you registered, you also got in your email with the free gift, there was a link to Baby Lock information, the flyer and all that stuff. So you've probably seen it, but just know if you want to go back and check that out, it was in the, hey, you're registered email. so check that out there. Thank you so much, Maddie. We appreciate you.
Thanks, Maddie.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay, so that's what we got for you in terms of the giveaway. If you guys have any questions, now's a great time to drop those in. And again, all machine types work. Baby Lock's just been super kind and allowing us to do some giveaways with them. So, all right, that is pretty much all we have for today. So now, you guys, it's time to go shopping because I don't know about you, but I like a good deal. And really, if it isn't a good deal, I'm like, no, I got to wait until a sale. Don't wait till a sale. The sale is right now.
Right.
The introductory price.
I know when I get emails or texts from certain companies that I absolutely love, I'm like, deal not good enough. Nope, wait till next weekend, and then I regret it. It's like, oh man, this deal is not as good as last weekend.
I just remembered something.
What?
And I wonder if I can pop it in here. We've got something special coming tonight and tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
I'm going to see if I can pop this in here while we're live. So give me just a second because yes, here it is. Okay, I'm going to pop this in here because we have something special happening tonight and tomorrow. It's loading. Hang in there with me. Here we go. Okay. We are going to be rebroadcasting a very popular workshop. Log Cabin was really, really popular. We were just talking this morning and you were like, it is probably one of the most versatile blocks.
It is. The number of layouts and how you can use colors and turning and placing your blocks is just, there's no limit to it.
Yes. So I want to kind of explain this because it's going to look like it's a live workshop, but it isn't. It is a rebroadcast. And the reason that I want to mention that is because there's dates and deals and expirations and all that kind of stuff that isn't really going to be relevant anymore. But there is some really good gold nuggets in there. Annie's stitching it out, us talking about block sizes. By the way, this one ranges from 5-inch to 10-inch.
Yes.
So there's a lot of really cool stuff that's going to be in this workshop. So it will stream tonight, Friday, March 8th at 7:30 p.m. We're going to rebroadcast day 1 of that Log Cabin workshop. And then Saturday, tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., we're going to rebroadcast day 2 of the Log Cabin workshop where we're showing trimming, pinning, and all that good stuff. So if you watched this before and just kind of want to watch it again, or if you're brand new to it and you want to see it, we're going to restream it, rebroadcast it. The promotions discussed in it are no longer valid. They've expired, but all the good content in terms of how to make it is all still there.
You will learn a lot. And I think everyone will love just watching it again.
I also plan to be in the comments of the rebroadcast. So
I'm going to try and do that too.
Okay. So that just means?
That just means that even if you're commenting, we will not maybe answer your question and see us read it and speak it and answer you live, but we will try and answer you in the comment area. So we'll do our best to catch everyone's questions and all that. But I mean, just take it all in, see what you can learn.
Yes, 100%. So, again, the promotions for Log Cabin are over, but the project is still available on our website and it's still shoppable on the website. So, as we conclude today, Nina, if you wouldn't mind popping in that link real quick, just so that you guys can easily get to the website to see everything that Annie just went over that's available from the Peekaboo workshop. And then I'm also just going to leave a little hint at the end of this and say, stay tuned because our next event is going to be
A whopper
a virtual quilt top. Woo!
quilt shop.
No,
Top.
that's what I said.
I thought you said top. A virtual quilt top.
quilt hop.
We're related.
I said hop, right? There's
Okay.
recorded evidence.
That's right. We'll see.
If you have no idea what I'm talking about, stay tuned.
Yep.
Watch the group. Think of it as like a semi-annual sale. Peekaboo will not be in it, guys. So now's your chance to get that.
Mhm.
And it's really us hopping from Annie here in Lima, Ohio, and then hopping over to Linda in Woodstock, Illinois. Lots of great deals,
Yep.
beautiful projects. So
We're excited.
they heard quilt top. Oh, well, yeah, maybe I said,
See?
maybe I am her daughter.
Totally. I'm sorry about that.
Hop, virtual quilt hop.
shop. Hop.
No, it's
Hop.
not shop.
Anyway, you all know what we mean.
Yeah, I think. Or they're really confused. All right. Thank you, everyone. Have fun shopping and have a good weekend.
Yep. Bye.
Bye.